Well, hello there. Tonight we're diving head first into the intellectual abyss that is young Earth creationism, and we're dragging the infamous Kent Hovind along for the ride. Yeah, that Kent Hovind, the man who thinks dinosaurs were Noah's pets and the Earth is only 6,000 years old. And I'm joined by the equally bewildered Johnny O from the Plot Hole, because let's face it, you need backup when you're dealing with this level of dedication to being wrong. Let's get this show on the road, because I've got a feeling my sarcasm muscles are about to get a serious workout.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald f***.
Please subscribe. I was gonna dive into my chair then and pretend I just did that live, but I didn't. That was pre-recorded. And you're very lucky. It's not often you get 2 live streams from me in one day, because I am far too tired and far too lazy for that level of effort. Good evening, Dan Palmer. You sent me a message, didn't you, about 3 weeks ago? And I haven't replied. Yeah, it's cool that James's Gallardo is back. I think that was what you asked me. And yes, I do still watch the Stradman. But anyway, so I'm not going to beat around the bush and mess around and tempt fate any longer. I am joined tonight by Johnny O, who Callum will very smoothly now place on the screen next to me. See you like that?
Super smooth.
So that was awesome.
Your switching skills are above board, better than...
This is why he makes the big bucks. This is why he makes the big bucks.
And this is why I don't mess up the stream just as it's going live. I've never done that, not once.
I love Callum. It. No, that was 100% planned. The oh no.
Callum, yeah. Callum definitely did not press the go live button and then straight away press the end stream button. He didn't do that at all.
What people don't understand is that was planned. We talked about this in the pre-pro.
Yeah.
Everything I do it's interesting, because when people say, "Oh, why didn't you do a bloopers reel and everything?" And I, with a cheeky wink, say, "Oh, I can't because I don't make mistakes." But it's not that I don't make mistakes. I leave them in the video anyway. My videos have got bloopers throughout them. If I fluff my lines or say something, I don't cut it out. I leave it in there, because usually it will have made me laugh. So my hope is that it makes the people that watch me laugh as well, and preferably with me and not.
I will tell you, as a casual observer of everything that you do, we are definitely laughing with you.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I don't I don't always share that level of confidence. See, Purple Snowdrop knows what's going on. It's Creaky that can't tech. Don't blame little Lord Callum. But it was Callum.
I'll take that. It
was, honestly, it was him this time. I can't do anything from over here. He's on the posh computer over there. So it was his fault. Yeah, it was his fault, not my fault. So, yeah.
You know what they say about leaders versus bosses, right?
Yeah, and that a poor craftsman always blames his tools.
Yep.
And I'm the tool in question.
Yeah, until Callum was the tool, not me.
That was not a backhanded way of calling Lord Callum tool, by the way.
Absolutely
just worked out.
Absolutely not. Didn't think that for a second, John. Anyway, how have we ended up here? Because this started, we were just briefly chatting on Discord. I can't even remember why I messaged you.
I actually messaged you because I watched your last clip talking about Hovind.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, when I saw that, I don't think enough people know just how despicable a person Kent Hovind is.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, I think people don't realize the sort of the level he's at when it comes to being a scumbag, because if pushing creationism onto anybody who listens to you isn't bad enough, he's also enabling and he's abusive, and there's just so many things that it's difficult to know why you don't like Kent Hovind, because there are so many valid reasons to not like him. How do you kind of, do you know what I mean? How do you quantify it?
So for me, I'll tell you that I don't care that he's a creationist. I don't care that he is a science denier. None of that bothers me at all, right? You can be an idiot all you want. That's fine. Be an idiot. Believe in whatever the fuck you want to believe in. Oh, I'm sorry. I forget.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
believe in whatever you want to believe in at the end of the day. It's when you are enabling people whom harm other people, that for me, that's where I draw some pretty hard lines. I don't think anybody would have any problem with that. And those who deny what Kent Hovind has done in relation to specifically talking about the Chris Jones situation, when all the evidence is there, you can sack up and join with him in being giant pieces of garbage.
The thing is, and this is only, based on observations of Kent Hovind, but he never even seems to realize when something he's doing would be considered wrong by the average kind of man on the street. He doesn't see, basically this guy, it's not the first time that his name and Kent Hovind's name have been spoken in the same breath. So, it's not the first time he's helped him, is it?
I don't think it's that he doesn't know. I think he doesn't care. Here's where some opinions going to come through, right? None of this is all alleged, right? I have heard a few different reports of Kent engaging in some of these activities himself, some questionable activities.
All right.
And I don't think he's denied it. I think he's doubled down on it not being a big deal when he has, like young children, sub 10 years old, some of the people whom visit his place or stay and work at his place, giving him, massages. Like, I don't think that to me, when I heard that, right, it was just the sheer absurdness of, what's wrong with me getting a massage from blah, 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 blah. A lot. There's a lot of things wrong with that. A lot.
Yeah. I can't see how we can possibly even justify that sort of behavior, though. But, if there are questions being raised around whether he has or hasn't taken part in certain inappropriate activities, is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, here's the thing. We're going to real quick backstory for those who may or may not know. Christopher Link Jones, and I give you his middle name and his full name simply because of the type of person he is and what he has been convicted of and what he is currently being charged with. Christopher Link Jones is, for lack of a better term, a child predator. He was convicted of lewd and lascivious acts with children under the age of 14. He appealed his conviction. Courts threw that out, said, no, your appeal is not valid. You are guilty of this, period. After his conviction, after he served the time, I forget how long he served in prison for this. I want to say it was nowhere near long enough, obviously. After that, he was invited to go hang out with Kent Hovind, whom Kent Hovind calls Chris Jones his good buddy, his friend. And he
I've heard him do it.
Yeah.
He refers to him as his friend, and he's
right.
It's all terrible lies, just
right. And
whatever,
even when you listen to Hovind's like justification, if you will, of what Chris Jones did, even that, like, he was trying to teach this person a lesson about you don't make fun of other people by embarrassing him, by making him take his pants down or playing strip poker. I'm like, that in itself is problematic. That is a terrible justification. If somebody, that's what I'm saying. The whole, like, it's so fucking mind blowing. Like, that's
so, and that was another person's child. So that would be, for example, if one of your children had another male adult say something similar to them.
Right.
So if that child, let's say for the benefit of the doubt that what they're saying there is true and that's what went on, even that's inexcusable because it's not your child.
Exactly.
Your first thought should have been, I need to speak to this child's parents and ask them why he thinks it's blah, blah, blah.
100%. And if there's like an immediate disciplinary need. That's different, right? Like separate the kids, you know, get them to a space where the immediate disciplinary need is taken care of, where the two kids can't hurt each other. And then hey, let me reach out to the parents to find out this. And if I can't find the parents, then
kids can be horrid, can't they? Can be really bloody cruel to each other.
100%,
you know,
right?
So I get that, but the scenario as is makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, and here's the thing. After all of that, you know, Chris Jones gets out of prison, moves to the Carolinas, South Carolina specifically, and then he's invited by Hovind to come stay at Dinosaur Adventureland. Chris Jones brings along with him a young child who I will not name, although that name is out there. This young child did appear on one of Hovind's live streams. And it come out later that this young child ended up sleeping in quarters with Chris Jones. So much so that they slept in the same bed together, found by another one of Hovind's, I forget what he calls them, one of his advisors or top people or whoever. I can't remember the names. I have all this written down somewhere, and I should have been better prepared and pulled it up. I've got a video on it. I know that sounds really self-serving, but all of the things that... What's up?
Yeah, well, if you've got a video, then, you know, send the links and everything over, and once we fix the lack of description under this live stream, it'll all go in there so people can follow up by going to look at your channel if they want to, and, you know, if they're interested to learn more about it.
Yeah, for certain.
I'm not sure why anybody would want to, but we've all got
we need to know more about
curiosity. Yeah,
we need to know more about what's going on here, because now Christopher Jones, as a direct result of what happened at Dinosaur Adventureland with this young child, has been arrested and is being charged with more acts. Let's see here specifically. Nope, that's the challenge. It is. That's the wrong one as well. I had it pulled up, but no, he's been charged again with more lewd and lascivious acts with children. As a direct result of what Kent Hovind did. And Kent Hovind was like, well, no, nothing happened. Everything's fine. He's good. I spoke with Hovind back before we knew what had happened with this young child. This was, you know, a couple of years ago, and we were looking to make sure that this young child was okay. Hey, what's going on? I spoke with Hovind on the phone, and, oh, no, he was returned. He's just fine. No, everything was fine. Nothing happened. Blah, 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 blah. And just kind of hand waved and dismissed it. Turns out that's not what happened, because eventually people did get a hold of this child and this child's parent, his mother. And she had no idea any of this had happened, none whatsoever. And then she had spoken with her child, and they come to the conclusion that some nefarious shit happened. So Jones has been arrested yet again.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not the first time, and it's not the first time he's been charged. So, you know, I know mistakes can be made, but there's also no smoke without fire.
There are mistakes, and then there are just blatant fuckery, and this is blatant fuckery, right? It'd be one thing if like the facts of the original conviction were, you know, like, I know here in Texas there was a time where if you got stopped, like, you know, peeing in the bushes or some shit, and you were close enough to a public park, they would hit you with indecent exposure, regardless of who was out there.
Right.
And that would fall under the, you know, the sex crime against children, and you would be listed, right? And that's one thing, right? Hey, he was stopped pulling, he had pee, and you know, whatever. But this case 100% was just, like I said, the fuckery. And then to sit there and excuse the behavior and say, well, nothing happened, when not only the court said everything happened, the people who look at the courts, the appellate courts, like, no, this happened, this conviction is valid. It's, like I said, the insanity, the sheer insanity of inviting that person down. And then to further double down on the insanity by saying, yeah, cool, you and this child whom I don't know, whom parent I haven't met, who I don't know where they came with you, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, you guys go and shack up in this unmonitored room that we have. No big deal.
Yeah. Because the thing is, what I don't understand as well, and obviously I know this is a US versus UK thing, and probably even a state-by-state thing as well, but if Kent Hovind is involved in this, even even indirectly, why are children still allowed to visit Dinosaur Adventureland? If it's known and if it's in the legal system that a child predator was living and working at Dinosaur Adventureland, in the first instance, that would be all over every newspaper, every magazine, website, blog in the UK if that was happening over here, and there wouldn't be a child within 5 miles of the place, regardless of what the ruling was. The parents would be, no, I'm not taking you there. Didn't you hear what happened? You know,
So
how is he still able to accept kids as guests at his theme park with this all up in the air and his involvement?
the issue is nobody has directly, like, legally linked Kent Hovind with Christopher Jones in that respect, and I don't understand why. And maybe because it's a he said she said thing. There's nobody who witnessed it outside of Kent Hovind's, people and the victims and whatnot. So I don't know. And to me, the simple fact that the victim was even there, like, I hope that something comes from this current People versus Chris Jones case, and they do eventually make that link. Because again, I don't care what Kent Hovind does as far as his science denialism. I just don't. Right? That is immaterial to me. Make fun of it, whatever, because it's silly. But when it comes to putting children at risk, or when it comes to putting people at risk, that's some shit that needs to be talked about. And we definitely need to, as a people, not just as a state or as a country, as an entire, humanity itself needs to say,
just as human beings in general. And that's why when we started talking about this in Discord, I basically said, right, shut up, no, we're not talking about that, because I knew that this would be an interesting conversation to have on this, on this show. So, what do you think inside chat? I'm sure you must have thoughts on this by now, based on everything that that Johnny has explained, because I can't believe what I'm hearing almost. I knew there was some bad shit going on there, but I didn't realize the extent.
Yeah. And that kind of, like, this whole thing just kind of exemplifies a point that, because we hear about abuse all the time. We hear about, that type of abuse, not just with children, but with people in general. And when you take a look at, like, and I'm going to bring this is going to kind of come from much bigger, but like the Harvey Weinstein thing. And people talk about why weren't people saying anything? Well, there were a lot of people saying a lot of things. A lot of his victims way before. Rose McGowan, what's her name? Kurt Cobain's wife. Oh God.
Courtney Cox. Courtney Love.
Courtney Love was saying, and Brad Pitt was talking about when he confronted Weinstein about what Weinstein did to Gwyneth Paltrow. There was a lot of people who were talking about this way before. It took decades before somebody finally said, okay, we need to start taking this more serious. And that's just another example, though, to me, of it's not that people weren't talking about it, it's that people weren't listening. Exactly. And people were talking about the whole Chris Jones thing well before I got involved with it. And because there was a guy who used to be a supporter of Kent Hovind, and when he found this stuff out, he's like, look, I can't get down with this, and you shouldn't be doing this and whatnot. But nobody listened to him, right? And then another guy was like, I witnessed these same things. He's the one who asked my daughter to give him a massage behind closed doors. Didn't ask me about it. Didn't see how I felt about it, And what Hovind and his sycophants do is they demonize these people who speak out against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, no, they're the ones that are wrong. They're mad because of this, that, and the other. And he says this about me, but he's one of these other types. He's a white supremacist, or he's a whatever. And
because a clue for me, or not a clue. Let me retract that. Not a clue. The first red flag for me, is when I found out that he was friends with Jim Bob Duggar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all know what went on in that family. You'd have to live under a rock to not know. And I'm guessing it got way more coverage in the States than it did in the UK. But I've heard Kent sort of dismiss that as if it's nonsense. None of it really happened. I know Jim Bob, he's a great guy. It's like,
Right.
yeah, you know, you thought Matt Powell was a great guy, and you now think that this, I've forgotten his bloody name now, this Chris Jones? Yeah,
Chris
you know,
Jones, yeah.
at the moment, Kent thinks he's a great guy, and he's a convicted.
Yeah.
Oh my
Convicted sex offender. We'll call him a sex offender.
Yeah,
For the algorithms.
This is one of the topics. See, this really fires me up and winds me up because
Right.
I can't think. I know exactly what I think should happen to anybody who's convicted of doing what Chris Jones has been convicted of
100%,
twice,
yeah.
and I won't say it.
Oh, I think they should be publicly castrated. And here's the thing:
Yeah,
I'm generally against.
I think it should go further than that. Yeah, they two options. They either get unalived by the authorities. They should be the exception to the death penalty in the UK, or they should be locked in a room which is just about long enough for them to lay down in, and that's where they stay till they die. They don't get a bet. They get they don't get nothing, John. Absolutely nothing. They gotta feed them, but apart from that, they ain't getting nothing. Right. And I think those are the only two acceptable punishments for somebody who's convicted of that sort of crime. I really do.
Yeah, and again, I'm generally against capital punishment. Cruel and unusual, I'm generally against. But when it comes to crime against children,
that's what I mean. It should be the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
I think, you know, there being no death penalty in the UK is fine for the most part, but there should be these certain exceptions. And I don't want to get all political and anything, because I know people get really easily upset online and everything, but it's one of those topics.
Yeah, for certain. It definitely had something that, again, because I'd made fun of Kent Hovind in the past before I knew about this stuff, and then that's how I got pulled into this whole thing. It was like, well, hey, if you think this is funny, maybe you should look at this connection here, right? And then when I found that, I was like, no, fuck this guy. This is not cool.
Yeah.
If the authorities aren't going to do anything to smack this idiot, then I'm going to do what I can, at least be a mouthpiece for victims and let people know that, hey, this is not okay. This is what's happening. Hopefully, like I said, we've turned over all the evidences that we had to South Carolina authorities, to where's he at? In Dinosaur Adventureland. We've turned over everything we can. So everything that we found, we turned over. I think that's how they got into contact with the parents of this child.
Right.
Not because of me specifically, but because of all the work that we did. Yeah. We being the folks.
Yeah, you were involved.
Right. So hopefully something will come of that where we can, at least get some of the victims some relief, and some justice. But the fact that this is ongoing, the fact that Hovind put himself in this situation, and nobody's really looking at Hovind, at least not publicly, and that needs to stop. People, they need to be driving cameras up his ass. Like, what is going on here? What are you fucking doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you would think after what happened with the other child who died, that people, authorities would be a little bit more adept to looking into this. Now we're not talking about just one instance of somebody.
But that all worked out fine anyway. He gave them free tickets to his free entry theme park.
Right.
Just that thing on its own tells you so much about Kent Hovind's character and who he actually cares about. And it's just one person. And it ain't God, it's himself.
Right.
He seems as if he will do or say whatever he has to paint himself in the, in a positive way. Oh, I'm just a man of God, and you're not. You're not a very nice man, and
funny.
The more and more we learn about him, the more and more I get why so many people thoroughly dislike him.
Yeah. It's funny how a lot of these, quote, men of God or people of God, especially recently, have been kind of clapped up in a lot of this, underage child predation. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Without getting too political, I don't want to,
Yeah, no, I know. Just very quickly, let me just duck in and do a couple of super chats that have come in so I don't forget. Desu became a channel member. Oh, no, you've been a member for 7 months. That's awesome. Thank you so much for the support. The Gonzo book. I love your show. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you for the super chat. And Gary IOW has become a member. Welcome back, Gaza. I hope you're well, pal. Nice to see you. And Jamie Schultz has said, I'm going to have to put that on big screen. I can't read it. If you have room on the balloon, you should add a second camera that has a transparent grid in front of it that shows lens, the source, and is not burned in the horizon. Can't burn the earth without the grid tool. That's being done. There's more than one camera going up, and one of them is having a grid in focus all the time so that they can't say that the lens is bending the horizon or whatever.
Who's doing this one?
Me.
You're doing this one? Okay.
Yeah, I was that shocked as well, John.
Yeah.
Because it means I've got to leave the house, I've got to go outside, I've got to drive my car.
I mean, I know you Welsh folk don't really like to get out of the house very often.
Well, I've got to go to England.
Whoa.
Yeah. The balloon isn't even being launched in Wales.
Whoa.
And people are asking me, am I going to involve flat earthers or anything? I would have loved to, and that was part of the plan. But the guy who's facilitating the launch, he's very, very private. Even in the teaser video we put out, he wants his voice disguised and his face blurred. I don't know if he's like a mafia hitman or something, and he's hiding out in the UK, but he definitely doesn't want anyone finding out who he is. So it's not that I don't want flat earthers to be involved. I do, but I can't take them with me.
Do you realize that gives these science deniers like an out, right?
I know, but it's like anything else, and you could stick them in a rocket now and travel up high enough with them and say, look, there it is. And they'd still find a way to say it is.
Oh, no, that's a projection mount on the window. I'm not
yeah. Windows. Why the windows round?
Right, yeah.
Shut up, you knobheads. But, so Jamie Schultz, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. And that it's all kind of being done. It's all way above my pay grade. I'm basically just waiting for an email to tell me to come and film a balloon being launched. So it should be fun. But anyway, thank you for super chatting, everyone who has. So back to Mr. Hovind. I can't even use the DR word in the same sentence as.
Well, but he's not a doctor.
No, I know. And nothing gave me more joy. For months and months, Callum was telling me, "Oh, Dad, you've got to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine." And I watched the first, and they've got a stinger right at the end, and it's not a doctor. And the second I saw that, I ran out of the studio and downloaded that clip, so that every time I say the name Kent Hovind, I will put "not a doctor" after it, because I'm childish and I think it's funny. But
it is funny.
Yeah, Dr. Nick says he's as much of a doctor as I am. What, you mean just because your name is Doctor on the internet, it doesn't mean you're an actual doctor? Well, I never. No. I'm going to change my name to Professor Blinder then.
See, but you could be Professor Blinder without being a doctor.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. He doesn't even have an honorary doctorate, right? He's got a bought for, paper milled doctorate.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody released his dissertation or his thesis, and fuck, that thing was full of grammatical errors, spelling errors. You were to take that thesis to any legitimate doctoral program, they would have laughed you out of fucking. They wouldn't even let you defend it. They would not even let you defend that shit. They would tell you to fuck right off and learn how to write a paper.
Yeah. Didn't Emma Thorne cover Kent's thesis?
Yes,
because it was essentially one of his videos.
Right.
I don't know when this is going to happen, but I made a response to Kent not last week, the week before, I think it was, and he's still trying to sell videos to people. Who's still got a video?
What do you mean a video? Like a
He's
like a VCR?
So you know, like my
like
YouTube channel. Imagine my YouTube channel was shelves with videos on for each episode. He's been selling them since, well, probably since before I was born.
Look, I'll tell you right now, being in the film world, VHS has made a comeback. Okay,
really,
Laserdisc has made a comeback, but it's a niche kind of market. Nobody's going to buy. I'm not going to buy a VCR so I can watch Ken Hovind's fucking shittily recorded videos from 1988 or some shit. Where the fuck it's from? It's just the most insane asinine thing I think I've ever heard of. People who want to watch, VHS shit. They want to like have that nostalgia remembrance with, like when they went to Blockbuster.
It was always Friday night was video night. You'd go 100%. Down to Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Hire, I don't know what it was like over there, but Blockbuster, you could hire, say, I don't know, 3 movies for the weekend, and it would be like £10.
Yep.
And you'd be sorted for the whole weekend then. But I know a lot of people feel that the joy of doing that has been taken away. I know Callum feels like that.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, Callum loves
get me started.
Yeah, but I just love technology. So the less I've got to do to get what I want, the better. I literally buy everything on Amazon.
See, I'm generally with you on that, but I will say that I do like having physical media, because what happens when, the internet goes down?
Yeah, nothing, John. That's what happens when the internet goes down. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Literally, when the internet goes down here, we're all just like, well, what do we do?
Yeah.
We can't turn the lights on and off. We can't set a timer. We can't watch TV. What's this? 1928? No, right. The internet's just been down for 20 minutes.
No, but I don't even think it's so much that. I get thinking about the experience of going. So, like we were saying, Blockbuster. The experience of going and purchasing a film, a game, anything, sitting in the back of the car, reading it. Just looking at the cover, pulling out all the insides, putting it in the PlayStation. It's just gone now. I bought a new game today. I pressed 3 buttons and then went into the other room for 20 minutes. Yeah. It's just not the same.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I remember, kind of the same thing. Being a kid, looking at, going to the record store. Like, no, they don't know. Kids these days don't know what a record store is. They don't know what that's about.
Yeah, that's why it surprised me you feel like it so much, because that was your childhood, go into the record shop.
I used to DJ when I was a teen, a scratch DJ. And I used to every Saturday, my parents would dump me in the middle of Swansea, in the middle of the town centre, and I would spend the whole day digging through crates of records.
Yeah,
loved it.
I mean, that's how we bought records, is based on the cover art, right? You would see some cool ass cover art, like, I'm gonna buy this record, and you would buy the fucking record, pull out the liner notes, read all the lyrics, all this shit. Nowadays, man, 99 cents, you got yourself a song. Yeah,
my youngest went out yesterday with a friend of his, and they went and he sent me a photograph from a record shop, and it was Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, look at this. This is so cool. And I was like, yeah, I used to have multiple copies of it because I used to mix with them. Oh, you still got... No, I threw all my records away. I literally... I had them for years and years and years.
So angry.
Yeah.
And they'd been in so many different lofts from when we'd moved. They were just deteriorating. And in the end, I just said, chuck them away.
What was the name of the record? He threw away?
The Electro. So there used to be like a rap sort of breakdancing series called the Electro series. And Electro 6 was the rarest one. And when I used to buy records, I would always buy 2 copies so I could mix with them.
Right.
And now they're worth like $400 each.
Gone.
And I threw 2 of them away.
Yep.
Because I'm an idiot.
After leaving them in either the attic or the garage, and they were all warped.
They were in the unit.
It's just disrespectful.
Well, see, here's the thing: when we're in that, like, nobody told me that my Optimus Prime toy was going to be worth so much money. Nobody told me that when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
No.
I grew up in the Toy Story era, and I had the original Woody and Buzz, and the Woody with a hat now is worth it can be worth thousands in good condition, and I just used to like throw mine out the window.
Right. Yeah. Well, the thing is, the reason why there were so much in good condition is because so many people did like we did. We just played with them. We played with our toys.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember now being in the local supermarket with my parents because they were shopping. If I was really, really good, I might be able to get a new Star Wars figure.
Oh yeah,
I was angelic every time my parents went shopping because I wanted that Star Wars figure. But the second it was paid for, I straight out of the pack because you played with toys then.
Right.
Because I think you were younger than me, John, but you know, we're from a similar sort of, you know, age bracket. So, you know, our childhoods would have been, you know, playing with the same kind of toys.
Right.
And
we're close enough in age to have very similar experiences.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But anyway, talking about experiences. So you actually rung Dinosaur Adventureland and spoke to the dumbass then, did you?
Yeah, I mean, I called him and grilled him about what was going on with Chris Jones, and you know, of course, he was like, "Nothing's happening. He's a great person. All that stuff that he talked about him was all made up, and you know, nothing really happened. Nothing happened. That kid's fine. He's great. Christopher Jones is a good man, a good man of God. Well, if that's a good man of God, then I don't want to be. I don't want to be a good man of God." So
yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. That's Kent Hovind to a T, isn't it? He just can't seem to accept responsibility for anything, even if it's something he hasn't done himself. He still seems to feel the need to defend the worst kind of people that anyone could defend.
I really wish we could get away from that because we see it other places, and again, not going to get down that rabbit hole, but I wish people would get away from, well, because he's my friend, everything he does is okay. No, I've got buddies who've done some fucked up shit, and I'm like, dude, that's fucked up. You don't do that. You need to make amends. And I can't fuck with you anymore because if this is how you're gonna live your life, then you know, go do that. You do that over there. I'm not gonna be involved with that. Just period.
Yeah. It's I just can't see any existence anywhere in the universe where anything he does or says is okay.
No. And again, if it were just, you know, dinosaurs and we're alive with Moses, whatever, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, hey, here's a convicted, you know, child harmer. Come on down and bring some kids with you. Hey, here's some kids you can hang out with unsupervised. I don't give no, man. That's like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? Even if, like, here's the thing, even if you believed that he was, you know, innocent of all the things, like there was wrongful charges and whatnot, even if that is the case, let's say, for instance, that Chris Jones was wrongfully convicted. Let's just agree to disagree on that, whatever. Let's, you know, for the sake of argument, we'll say Jones was innocent of everything. The simple fact that he's been convicted of now puts you in a position where if you harbor that and you aid in that type of behavior, you yourself are opening yourself up to litigation. So why not be like, hey, look, Chris, you can come down, but I need to know in advance when you're coming so I can make sure all the kids are gone, and obviously you can't bring kids with you. This, like, safeguard this shit. I just don't understand.
Yeah. So Kettle says his guess is that Kent Hovind owed Jones a favor.
I'm curious as to what that favor would be.
Yeah, and also, why does he owe him a favor? What does Chris Jones have on Kent Hovind that is damaging enough potentially to make Kent Hovind want to publicly defend somebody who's done something as nefarious as what Chris Jones has been convicted twice of doing? Does that make sense, John?
It would have to be exceptionally bad, because like a lot of people can, he was convicted of tax crimes and whatnot, not paying his taxes and this, that, and the other, and you know, fraud and money and whatnot. Like, okay, no big deal. Like even in, I don't know how it is over there in the Welsh land, but here in the States, they generally have a different unit for people whom harm children in that manner.
Yeah.
And because they just don't make it in Gen Pop, they just don't. my uncle was telling me about a time where he served with a guy who had a slit on his neck from ear to ear that he didn't notice at first because it happened in the bend of his neck. It was his bunkie, and one day one of the other inmates was like, "Hey, you know that you're in trouble simply because you're bunking with him, right? You might want to consider a bunkie change." He was like, "I had no idea what's going on." I said, "Look at his neck," and he saw the neck from ear to ear. His bunkie had survived an assault because he was a convicted child molester. They generally don't last in prison.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, and this, I know you said that you don't completely agree with me, but I think they should be put in general population, but they should be put in a very specific part of general population, the part where every prisoner has children. Every prisoner is a parent.
Oh no, I agree. I 100% agree that
shut them in there.
We let, you know what? Here's the thing: criminals are going to be criminaling, so let them handle their business.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I don't doubt for a second that prison guards are turning a blind eye anyway. If they see some shit happening, they're going,
it's funny how it's funny how they know where to be and where not to be at the right times.
Yeah. It's like any other sort of organization, the police, prison guards, politicians, MPs, there's potential for them all to be crooked, and there are crooked elements in all those professions, but that doesn't mean that they're all like that. But in the case of the prison service, hopefully enough of them are so that
And here's the thing: it's not even about being corrupt and crooked as a prison guard. You got to remember, prison guards are outnumbered at best
massively.
10 to 1. At best 10 to 1. So, you know what I mean? Let them do what they're going to do because you can't stop them.
Yeah, exactly. Just very quickly, thank you very much indeed to my friend Danielle for a £50 super chat.
£50.
I would have given you a fanfare, Dan. Callum's pressing the button, so you just get the clap.
Is that like $1.95 American? £50?
At the moment, it's probably about 1 for 1.
Yeah,
the exchange rate is garbage at the minute.
Yes,
which is another one of the reasons why I'm not going to bother coming this year, because I remember going back about 10 years, I was looking at coming to the States for a holiday then. And at the time, if I had exchanged, say, £1,000 into dollars, I'd have had nearly $2,000. But now, I think the last time I came over, I exchanged £1,000 and I think I had like $1,100. It was barely any difference.
Right. Man, again, without getting into politics, we're so fucked.
And I laughed at the wrong time then. Danielle said she had that keyword. The clap, that is. Oh, dear me.
We're not children at all. What are you
terrible. You are terrible. Does anybody from the side chat have any questions that they'd like to ask John? Because John is obviously considerably more knowledgeable, and he's better at speaking as well. So if you do have any questions, I don't know what happened then. I was having a stroke.
Yeah.
So if you do have any questions, submit them in the side chat and just type, I don't know, hashtag John. So I know it's a question for John.
I like your thinking. Very outside the box.
Yeah.
Hashtag John for questions for John.
Yeah. I can't think of things on the fly. Why do you think I pre-recorded my intro? Right. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, you know what, Otaka Senpai, you could still be in visa compliance and get deported right now. So again, I don't want to get too political because I know Creaky doesn't do politics, but
yeah, I've been over a few times and the visas were simple to get, but I don't know what the situation is with that now. Maybe they'd want to microchip me or something, or put an ankle monitor on me or something like that.
Yeah, they'll ankle monitor you and microchip you on the way to Guantanamo.
Maybe they just don't want me over there because the couple of times I've been shooting and I was very reliably told that I was a natural and an amazingly good shot for somebody who had never even handled a gun before. But it was only after we left the shooting range, I confessed that every time I fired the rifle, I closed my eyes first because it was loud and scary. But with a handgun, I was fine. But with I think it was an AR.
It was.
Was it an AR?
It was, because when you said that he had an AR-15, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I got all that beat. If you guys really want, like I said, the next time you're in the States, if you make it down to Texas, there's a place where you can you can shoot a tank.
Really?
You can get into a tank and you can fire off some tank rounds.
God bless America.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously expensive, but
I can imagine. I bet it was good fun though.
That does sound fun.
Actually closing your eyes can help from jerking the trigger. That's why I was doing it. And I obviously I had to wear safety goggles over my glasses, and for some reason I managed to, so I had my glasses on, safety goggles over the top. My screen is frozen in a very bizarre, I wish I knew how to screenshot from this piece. Anyway, and I fired the gun and the bullet flies out back, kind of, it got me in the eye. How'd you get it in the eye with a bullet when you got 2 pairs of glasses on? I must be really good at guns.
It's one of those JFK bullets.
Yeah, I can't see this video being monetized, Carl.
No, I don't. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I think there's so many things in this video that just scream, no, you're not making any money off this, pal.
I've kept my I've kept my hands far away from the funny sound effects. There's been no opportunity.
No, I know. There was nothing funny about this stream.
Just a silence and then just.
Right then, John, has John got the audio of Hovind assaulting his wife?
I had it. I don't know what I've done with it. A lot of stuff got compiled and then put away. But
same year. I'm 99% sure I've got that on my PC. FEP review asks, where did Johnny get his thick accent? It's hard to understand him compared to Creaky's accent-free diction.
That's a fair question. I got my accent. I have what they call a Western accent, which is not a Texan accent. And I don't know how, I have what they call, again, Western accent's the most nondescript American accent you can have. And somehow even Creaky, who's not American, has beat me in the most nondescript accent ever. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
It's just my awesomeness, know.
By the way, I was told to ask you,
visible.
I was told to ask you what it's how the eyebrow coloring is going.
I forgot about that.
You know, the funny thing is, right? You'll know my wife looks after my eyebrows and my old man ear hair and my nostril hair and all that good stuff.
It's interesting when all that stuff turns white.
Yeah, she says that my eyebrows are starting to go white. Once my eyebrows go white, I'm going full on Rick Rubin.
Do you know what I really hope? I hope that your eyebrows go white relatively soon, so it looks like you were dyeing them and you've been caught out.
Yeah. But do you know what I actually did when that first happened? The first thing I said to my wife when I went back inside is, would you be able to dye my eyebrows white and my beard dark? And she said, yeah, but it'll be permanent. That's what, because I thought it would have been funny because my beard is white, but my eyebrows are still relatively dark. And I just thought it would be funny to switch them. So to have white eyebrows and a dark beard, but I wasn't that committed to a joke. So
it would have been funny though.
You just shave the beard and it goes away,
Yeah. Right, another one. Johnny, is there anywhere to see your short Dead End?
Yes, you can get on Insomniac. You can get on Patreon. Let me get a link. There's a free month. I have to keep all that stuff behind a paywall, unfortunately. But in order to combat that, to make sure people can watch it without having to pay for it, I offer 1 month free. So watch what you want to watch for a month, and then you can, stick around if you want. It's cool, but you don't have to.
Is that what the documentary is, John?
I don't think I have the documentary on Patreon. I think the documentary is on I think that's released now because we have to keep them behind the paywall during festival runs.
I remember you explaining it to me. Yeah,
I can release it. And the festival run for that one is done. And I want to say that one is on the Insomniac Film Company channel.
You'll have to send me a link to it, John. So how long ago? That was a couple of years ago now, wasn't it?
It was before the neck tattoo.
Was it?
I believe so.
So yes, it was probably 3 years.
Yeah,
maybe.
sounds about right.
Or
Let me
somewhere
double check.
around there.
Let me see where that sucker is at.
Was it in this studio?
I
remember you.
Can't remember actually. No, I don't think it was. I think it was before I moved into this house.
Yeah, but I remember the viewing.
So that would make it nearly 5 years ago then, John, because I've been here 4 years in August.
June.
Yeah, it's so cracking the YouTube code is on regular plot hole channel. I'll send you a link in the
awesome. Because I've been promising my wife for almost 5 years now. It would seem that I'd get the link to it so that she can see it as well.
Yeah, there you go. I put it in the private chat. So you've got both the Patreon for Insomniac and then the YouTube or the link for the whatchamacallit.
There we are, and we'll chuck that in the description under the video as well. Next question from Scott the Orange. At the peak, how many followers did Hovind have?
So if we're talking about YouTube subscribers, I think he was up to 175K. I may be wrong on that. But it also, those 175K are widely disputed. And I think accurately so. I don't think he had at any point in time had an actual 175,000.
That's one of the things that makes me laugh about Kent Hovind. He bangs on about how awesome it is that he doesn't monetize his content and then complains that YouTube demonetized his channel and he can't make any money. How does that make sense?
Can't have it both ways.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You either were monetized and you are making money by lying to people, or you've never been monetized and you do it because it's part of your belief.
Right. And here's the thing.
You're still a massive dick.
Right. Here's the thing. And this is what I'll tell anybody. You monetize your channel if you have a legitimate following, right? Simply because whether you monetize or not, YouTube is still going to throw ads in your shit.
Exactly.
So you might as well take a little bit of that coin.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is as well with YouTube, it's always interesting to me because when people complain about ad reads, because I do sponsored segments in my videos, but even that, my channel size, I'm not making loads and loads of money. I'm not, I haven't got a bloody Lamborghini Huracan parked on the driveway or,
I know
I'm making a living, but so
I caught that.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
You missed his joke, that's all.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Do you know what it is? Men can't multitask. Women are right.
Yeah,
they are, and I'm trying to talk to you while maintaining eye contact with the camera, but also look at you on the screen down here, so I can see that you're not going like this when I'm not looking, and I'm trying to read the side chat as well.
Yep.
So yeah, it's.
No, you said you didn't have your Lamborghini parked out front. I said you left it at my house.
Yeah, exactly. You haven't been driving it, have you? I told you how expensive the tires are.
No.
Talking about expensive tires, this has gone completely off topic now, but we're getting close to the end, so I don't care. When Callum did his prom,
last
week, all the cool kids, they get taken in fancy cars, and a mate of mine had an Audi R8, the V10 one, the one with the Lamborghini Gallardo engine in it, and he lent it to me to take Callum to his prom. And I didn't rag the ass off it. I promise. I drove responsibly, really slow.
Yeah, well, sorry, just to interrupt you. We drove there so slow that when we got there, no one else was there yet. So that's how slow we drove there. Yeah.
So it was awesome. And the reason I brought that up is because even if I could afford a Lamborghini, I couldn't afford to run one. For me to borrow this R8, which I know isn't a Lamborghini, but it is.
No, but
They're the same car.
Yeah. Underneath,
he said, yeah, you can borrow the car, but it needs 2 rear tires. Can you go and get them for me? And I thought, oh crap, you don't want me to pay for the bloody tires now, tight ass. And he literally owned a convenience store, and he pulled like one of these sort of fabric sacks out, boom, onto the counter. He said, well, there's $1,000 in there that should just about cover 2 rear tires. Go and get them fitted. £1,000 for 2 tires.
Yeah.
And this was 10 years, no, 12 years ago, maybe?
2012.
In 2012.
Yeah,
so I had to think what it would be now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah, I'd love to have one, but
no, I wouldn't.
I think I've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Why wouldn't you? I want to know what you were about to say then.
Why wouldn't I want to have a Lamborghini? Simply because I get irritated when my Toyota Tundra gets a door ding.
Yeah. That's,
you know what I mean?
valid.
Like fucking hell, like the anxiety of making sure that thing stays nice and whatnot. Like, you know what? I just do without.
Yeah. No, I got you there.
Yeah, but you would literally be so wound up in a ball of anxiety if you ever came to the UK and tried to park.
Oh my god!
Because when I was in America and I was driving around everywhere I parked, it was like, geez, what are you leaving room for like a car and a half per parking bay?
Yeah.
And then of course, well, America's, they got a lot of big cars and everything. Honestly, some of the supermarket, Tesco is the biggest UK supermarket. I think it is.
It's one of.
And their car parks are always huge and always full. You park in between the cars either side of you. You couldn't squeeze a sheet of A4 paper in.
You couldn't fit your.
Honestly,
we'll say you couldn't fit your average American through the door.
Yeah,
if you know what I'm saying.
They wouldn't be able to get out.
Damn, you just called us
it's
off
nuts.
bad.
It is, but so let's recap. So we've talked about how much of a dickwad and scumbag Kent Hovind is, and also Chris Jones, and now we're talking about car parking spaces.
Yeah,
right.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
yeah. What a chat.
It's just the way it goes, isn't it? Do you want to give these lovely people any instruction as to where they can look you up? You know, because not everybody's going to look at the description, especially as there isn't one there at all at the moment. So
yeah.
You know,
you can find me over at the Plot Hole, YouTube.com. At the Plot Hole. My content has changed, right? I took a year off, give or take a week or two. I got tired of doing sovereign citizens and First Amendment auditors because it's all the same boring bullshit, right? I just got tired of it. It was not, there's no joy in it. And I've done a hard shift over to the political commentary side, which I know not a lot of people are going to want to hear what I have to say about politics. So perfectly understandable. We can disagree on a lot of things, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to check out what I have to say about, the current political state of at least the United States of America, go check me out at the Plot Hole. And if you're interested in the film stuff, look up Insomniac Film Company. We're on YouTube as well.
Awesome sauce.
Amazing.
Just very quickly before we go, one more super chat has come in. £5 from Jonathan Davis. Not the famous Welsh rugby player Jonathan Davis, who I had a wee next to once.
Are you capable of mentioning the name Jonathan Davis without saying that story?
No.
I don't think,
It's my claim to fame. I had a wee next to a really famous rugby player.
Look, we got to fucking get in where we fit in, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Callum, you're gonna be of our age caliber one of these decades, and you're gonna be like, you know what? There was that time that I shook the hand of the guy who changed. Well, you know what? I'm going to stop that one right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jonathan said you should have an Aston Martin DBX. They're only built down the road in St. Athan. $2,500 per tire. No thanks. No, no. I'd love a supercar, but only if somebody wants to pay for it all and I just have to drive it.
Yeah, if all I have to do is put the key in it and drive it, you take care of the maintenance, the gas. Yeah.
Have anything you want then.
Yep.
Of anything you want. Tell you what you can buy really cheap in the UK now is Humvees. You should see how cheap you can get them.
Yeah, no,
I saw a gigantic bright yellow one, but it was petrol, obviously, and left-hand drive being an American import. But can you imagine driving one of them around here?
If you drove one of those, right, around the UK in general, you would just look like the biggest prick ever.
I've got news for you. If you drive one of those around the United States, you look like the biggest prick ever. Okay, this is the most fucking retarded vehicle ever. I'm sorry, I use the R word. I can't get that one out of my lexicon. I've tried so hard. Yeah. No, actually, I take that back. It's the second most ridiculous thing you can drive behind the Cybertruck.
Right.
Yes, I'm with you there.
Right, we better finish the stream now then. I hope you can cancel eBay auctions. I don't think the money's left my account yet. Thank you all so much for watching. And Callum, start the editing.
Yeah.
See you next time. Love you, bye.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. Maybe someday you'll have it your way. Maybe someday it'll all work out. Until then, nope, a nope, a nope, a nope, definitely nope, a nope, nope, a nope. Probably never, ever, 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 ever,